In this episode, I'm going to share my social media formula with you. And it's super easy, just 3 steps. You can use this for Facebook, Instagram, Reels, TikToks. You could even use it to craft an email. Anytime I want to get someone's attention, this is exactly what I do. Welcome to the Savvy Agent Podcast, where we help real estate agents build a thriving business so they have financial freedom in their life without having to work 24/7. I'm your host, Heather Wright. Now let's get to it. You guys, I have a confession. I have gotten lazy with my social media. Maybe burnout is a more accurate description, but regardless, I'm off my game. So I decided to practice what I preach. Great idea, right? One of the things I preach, or rather recommend, is that everyone post their own original content. Because when you get one of those copy and paste services, well, they're just a little too vanilla. Posts that someone else writes, they sound generic. And if you're going to post generic, it's kind of crap. So if you're going to post generic crap, why even bother? Oftentimes I'll let my graphic lead my inspiration. And so in this case, I picked up a graphic from Savvy Agent Club. And if you're not in the club, you can use a graphic that your broker provides or one from another service or make your own in Canva. The graphic isn't that important. You can always post a photo of a house or of your dog or of you instead of graphic. But definitely don't spend a lot of time on this. I do like to have a graphic to go with my post because text-only posts have a tendency to get lost in the algorithm. And of course, if you're posting on Instagram, well, you need to have a picture of something. Once you have your graphic, you'll probably think, okay, WTF am I going to post? What the heck am I even going to talk about? So that's when I scan through my Visible Agent Inspiration Bank Trello board. And in the case of the example that I'm sharing with you today, I saw a post about offering 3 tips on something or other. And that actually inspired me in combination with my graphic to do a post on 3 things buyers can expect in 2022. So the graphic that I was using, it's like, it says new year, new address, so it's kind of salesy oriented, but it's definitely meant for someone who might be thinking about buying a house. So the formula for your social media posts, or really any of the content you do, is 3 steps. Step 1 is your hook. Step 2 is your value, the content, the story, or whatever it is that you're going to share. It's the meat of the post. And step 3 is your call to action, or CTA for short. So let's break it down. The hook is like the beginning of your post, but you want it to also tell people why they should read it. It needs to be interesting, because if it's dull, generic, and boring, is anyone going to read the rest of your post? Not likely. So keep that in mind when you're crafting your hook. What can I say in this one sentence to make people want to read more? In the example of the post that I made today, I know that it has 3 things that buyers can expect in the new year. So my hook is, if buying a new home is on your list of things to do this year, here are 3 things you'll want to know. Now, I'm not claiming to be an expert on hooks. I'm just telling you what I know. I also know if I spent 10 more minutes on this, I could probably make it even better. But done is better than perfect. And it's social media. So you got to be fast and move on to the next thing. You know how most social platforms truncate the post? So you only see the first couple of lines and you have to click on it to read more. Well, this hook is going to catch attention for people that are maybe thinking about moving. It's probably not going to get attention for people who aren't in the market, but that's okay. For this post, we're talking specifically to buyers. So we don't need the whole world's attention, just buyers. Lists are great hooks. I feel like I say that word funny, lists. If you have a list of things and make it plural, lists. Anyway, a list might be 7 steps to getting more than your list price, or 5 easy steps to stage your house in 1 hour. Things that give the feeling that you know something they don't. Like maybe most people can come up with 3 things to stage their house in 1 hour, but 5 things, whoa. And the 1 hour on its own is also kind of a hook because, wait a second, that seems kind of fast. How are you doing that in 1 hour? You just want to make it feel like you're giving them some juicy gossip. You could even say something like, I'm about to share with you, or I'm about to give you, which is kind of juicy, like it catches your attention. What is she about to give me? Secrets are also good hooks. My 3 secrets to winning multiple offers, or my best 3 secrets to staging your house in 1 hour, or my best kept secret that you'll need to know if you sell your house this year. See how those hook you in for more? Like you just automatically want to know, what is it? What is it this person knows that I don't? Next up comes the thing you're going to tell them, the value of your content. If you have a specific number in your hook, like a list, then make sure the value matches up with that. So in my case, if buying a new home is on your list of things to do this year, here are 3 things you'll want to know. Which now that I read that out loud 3 times, I could probably have made it a little bit more, a better hook by saying my 3 predictions for buying a house in 2022, or my 3 secrets every first time buyer needs to know in 2022. So you can spend an awful lot of time on your hook. So just get one and go with it. And so then once I've selected my hook at this point, and I'm not, at the time I wasn't obsessing over making it even better. And so that's when I started writing out my 3 points, the meat of my post. I like lists. So of course I'm like, number 1, inventory is low and demand is high. And I wrote a paragraph about that. Number 2, timing is everything. And I wrote a paragraph about that. And number 3, focus your negotiation on the terms, not necessarily the price. And I wrote a paragraph about that. Sometimes I can get a little wordy, like I almost put all of the things in the inventory is low, demand is high section. And I caught myself realizing, wait a second, that's like, I could spread this out to be over more points. I don't have to have everything all in the first point. And I don't want everything all in the first point because too many words makes things difficult to read and it's hard to pay attention to. And if people feel like all of a sudden something is hard to read, it makes them feel stupid and they're not going to read the rest of your post and they're going to move on and they're not going to have a warm, fuzzy feeling about you. It's social media. You only have a brief moment to capture and keep their attention. So you also want to make it easy to read. If you do have a lot of words, one big gigantic paragraph, kind of like the MLS, we're allowed 1,000 characters on the MLS and it's all just globbed into one big paragraph. Well, it's hard to read. Now, if you can separate a couple sentences per paragraph, if you can make things bold or italics, which I don't think you can do directly on Facebook. I use Publer.io for my scheduler, so I can do those things. And Publer is free, so check it out. But making it easy to read by not saying all of the words in one paragraph or one post, but dividing them up so that it makes more sense with what you've actually written. And then also dividing it stylistically. Is that a word? Stylistically? It is now. So if you design the style of your post so that it's broken up and it's just visually easier to read, add some emojis. I think that will go a long way as well to keep their attention. Also, when you think about what all you should include in the post, if you feel like you're getting a little bit wordy, we'll save some of that content for your next post. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes more is more. But there's always another day that you can post something on your social media. Finally, once you've nailed your value, you should end your post with what you want them to do next. In this case, I just included a link to my IDX website where they can start house hunting. And I said, if you'd like to get started with your house hunting right now, visit DesMoinesHouseHunters.com. That's my IDX website. If you don't have an IDX website or a lead magnet that they can register for a free guide, then that's okay. You can use a simple call to action to leave a comment or send you a message. For example, if I didn't have an IDX page, I could say something like, If you'd like to get started with your house hunting right now, comment house hunting below and I'll message you. Or you could say, if you'd like to get started with your house hunting right now, send me a message with your new home wish list. If none of those inspire you, you can keep it super simple and just say something like, follow me for more. That's pretty easy. Not every post needs to have a super salesy CTA. Sometimes I'll leave it generic, like if you're thinking about buying or selling real estate this year, let's talk, or craft it more specific to the content. One of the things I talked about was how we would work together to create a strategy to help them get their offer accepted. So you could even turn that into a call to action. So that's the formula. It should start with a hook. In the middle is your value, the content, the information you want to share with them, and it ends with a call to action. See, it's pretty easy, isn't it? Now, if you find yourself wondering what to say, you should check out the Visible Agent Inspiration Bank. We have 365 content prompts to inspire all of your content. Plus, there's a bunch of bonus prompts in there. So it's actually over 500. I think it's like around 525 prompts total. But anyway, you'll never have to worry about writer's block again. So visit savvyagent.co/VAIB and get your copy. So I, of course, will have that link in the show notes to make it easier for you to grab that. And that's it. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll talk to you next week.